Welcome to Branding Beyond Business. I'm your host, John Mediana. Let's get it.
Welcome to the podcast. Wow. This is probably like my 6th or 7th podcast I've ever launched. And it's like two things. I feel two different ways. There's one way of being discouraged, and there's another thing of just being like artful about this. Like when you're mastering something, your goal isn't to end something or it never comes to an end. Your goal is to continuously learn, test, adapt. Your goal really is the infinite game. And I'm probably doing 50 things wrong when you launch a podcast that I've learned over the 20 years of branding and marketing, owning businesses, failing at businesses, exiting businesses, all these things, right? I've made a lot of money in my lifetime, and I'm very, very young and very grateful, and I don't want to brush that aside. I've worked on a lot of awesome projects as a creative as well when they never said I could ever do it because I'm Filipino and I was supposed to be a nurse or a mailman. But here we are. This podcast is called Branding Beyond Business. And I'm so breaking all the rules when it comes to podcasting. Like, don't ever be drinking and smoking a cigar on a podcast, maybe. Or it has to be nicely lit or professionally. You got to have all this gear. You got to have all these nice things. I got a freaking camera, my Sony 6600. I have my Rode mic on a makeshift microphone stand. That is a wireless mic. It's nothing crazy professional. And I'm also at a cigar lounge with a big loud vent going up right above where I'm filming. But here's the thing about today's podcast, and this is something that I want to go into and why I'm doing this and what propelled me to do this, because man, it's been years. I was always thinking, if you're like me, just very critical on yourself, I'm like my worst critic. I've done so much creative work for other people that I never stopped to think about myself and creativity and thinking about my mental health, or even that's kind of bogus because I'm like, oh man, I'm a dude, right? I don't need mental health could go out the window. There's been moments I can't even tell you, and maybe later on I'll unravel it on this podcast. But really, the thing here is just push record. For me, it doesn't have to be perfect. Usually I like to have things buttoned up. I like to have all the social media handles for this. I want all the branding locked in. I want all the website locked in. Here's the thing that is just so funny, the way God works when it comes to just facing your fears and just hitting record and publishing, is that I went to go buy the website, which I have, right? brandingbeyondbusiness.com. I typically like to purchase a site and then go through the trademark and the affiliate. If it's a viable product, I will go through the motions and get a LLC and go through all the trademark stuff. But here's the thing. I bought the website and I bought an email. And the thing with this new Google, at this current episode, I am talking to you. It is the middle of August, 2023. And I bought the mailbox from Google Workspace because we're Wix affiliates. Wix is partnered with Google, and that's why Wix websites actually rank better through SEO and indexing with Google because they're partners with Google. So that's a little side note hustle there if you're trying to build a website. WordPress is overly complicated, and you'll probably mess it up if you try to update one plugin. So don't do it. If you want to build something, build it on Wix. Talk to me. And there's a reason, because we've worked with all of them, Squarespace, Weebly, WordPress. But anyways, so that's a side note. The problem that I had today with recording or even recording this, and I'll tell you the backstory before that or after that, but I try to set up my email. And when you set up a new Google Workspace email, when you get an actual business email, which I got, it's called yes at Branding Beyond Business. Why? Because it's like, I didn't want a normal email account. I wanted, like, you'd put hello, or, we've had info or admin or John or whatever. But I was like, you know what? this is the time to break the rules a little bit. I'm in that season of creativity and business where I have to give myself permission to break the rules a little bit. So I was like, yes, at brandingbeyondbusiness.com. Why? Because I want you to think, yes, I want to hear more. Yes, I want to connect. Yes, you're taking action with yes. So when I did that, it doesn't allow you to actually create a email account for 2 to 3 days, because what it's doing is it's building the thing. And I have to do a whole research on this. I had to go through forums and like, how come I can't log into my email account? Because I want to create a social media. I want to get IG and Twitter and all these other things. Well, it's called X now. Thanks, Elon. But I was like, I can't even launch the show without an email. And I was like, oh, I'm just going to let the part of me was like, I'm just going to let that be my excuse to not push record and not do this episode. But then I remembered my wife saying, because me and my wife, and you'll probably meet her down the road, but if you know her name's Britt. We've been married for almost 7 years, coming up on October 2023. We got 2 wonderful, incredible, loving, amazing young boys, 1 and 3. You'll hear me talk about them a lot, being a father and a husband. And she told me, like, John, and here's the thing about me, I'm a creative and I'm a visionary person. So like, I am an astronaut in outer space and I love big visions. I love I'm the vision guy. I will tell you exactly what kind of strategies need to be in place. And then I have a good friend, DJ, which you will one day meet. He's the COO of the company that we run together called Executive Brand Growth, but he is in charge of the operations and doing of the work. So he leads our creative team. So I'm like, hey, this is what we need to do. This is the strategy, blah, 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 blah. And then he goes and executes it. I need those people in my life. I need my wife in my life, because I had been telling her for literally years, and I've launched multiple podcasts, and what you probably won't be able to find, maybe you could find it in the remnants of all the podcasts that I have launched in the past. But I've always liked to test, learn, and adapt and create an idea, run with it, test it out, pick it up. And then I never actually stuck with something that I was like, you know what? It's either I burn out or I'm like, oh man, I pivoted, the market pivoted, so I'll change it up. But this has been something that I've been talking to my wife about for literally months now. And today was the day, and because we had a long conversation this weekend, and it's Monday today, big work day, and I'm like, you know what? I got it. And I threw her like 3-4 ideas this past couple weeks of like, this is the podcast I want to launch. This is what it's about. And I like to use her as a sounding board of like, hey, babe, what do you think? Because she has this really gifted way of telling me what she really feels, and a gifted way of saying, this is going to work or is not going to work. And I have been such a blessed man to have a woman like that, who I'm married to, in my life, that will literally tell me how it is. That's a great idea. That idea sucks. I don't feel like, God's in this one. I am so grateful. And let me tell you, if you're a single man out there, you need to find yourself a woman who will come alongside you, not only support you, but complement you in your life, and vice versa. You also need to take that man title of your life, that manhood, and lead your family well. Got to make some decisions. You got to grow up a little bit. But here's the reason why I pushed record today and why I didn't let an email stop me, is because my wife said, John, if you come home without a published podcast today, you're not eating dinner. So that was a very difficult compromise for me, eat or not eat. So I told her, I was like, you know what? This is actually great. I'm happy for you for telling me that I need to go and push record and publish, and regardless of, how perfect it is, because I'm a perfectionist most of the time. Sometimes I'm like, I don't really care. It's just content, post it, whatever. You got to kind of have that filter, like, what hill are you going to die on? And I haven't even started lighting my cigar yet, but this is why you're getting this episode today. And it is the very first episode of branding beyond business. My biggest question for you, I'm not like an ego stroker or nothing like that. So please don't send me emails telling me how awesome it is. I usually get emails telling me how much I suck. But what do you think of this podcast? What do you think of the branding beyond business? What does that mean to you? I would love to hear. Email me, DM me, whatever. Find me on social. I want to hear personally what branding beyond business means to you. And I'm going to share on this first episode exactly what it means to me to get the conversation going from my years of experience in businesses, failed and successful, right? I've been part of businesses that have failed, bankrupt, or dissolved. And I've been part of businesses that have successfully made millions of dollars and very quickly. That I learned, and Paul writes about this all the time, but it resonates so much with me. I've been broke. I've never been homeless, but I've slept in my car many of times in my journey of creativity and business and artistry and mastery. I've been rich. I've been wealthy. I've been places and spaces and spent stupid. You ever think about stupid money? Like you just spend it because you just have it? It's just like crazy. I've been there in my life where I've spent stupid money, stupid stuff. Here's the thing, I've never done anything illegal or anything crazy in my life. Like I'm pretty much, I stick within the guidelines and the rule book. And also, I love Jesus. So I'm trying to really follow his ways, right? Love people as much and as I love myself. Love people, be generous, because you can't take the stuff with you. That being said, this first episode is dedicated to my fellow creators who's not always felt, but very undervalued, overlooked, and maybe have felt that they have been blindsided in the past. Maybe they've been taken advantage of in the past. Maybe they've built businesses that have failed. Maybe they had ideas that never came to fruition. I've been there many times. I know that hurt. I know what that pain feels like to have an unsuccessful business and your dreams and everything that you've been trying to prove to your Asian parents that you made the right choice and decision in life come crumbling down, right? Maybe that's a little too personal, but I've been there. So this is dedicated to you. If you're listening, and I hope no one is, because this is going to be very embarrassing for me. This whole podcast experience is just a experiment. This is my way of sharing the things I've learned in my life and having a voice in the game that is unapologetic, that is very brutally honest. And I'm here to do, I don't have that outlet, because in marketing, you have to say the right things, do the right things, dress the right way. Well, I call bullshit on that. I'm sorry. I love Jesus, by the way. I'll see you at church, Pastor, on Sunday, Pastor Tom. But I call bullshit on it. I've been disenchanted throughout life when it comes to the guru approach of, trends and like, oh, you gotta, make 6 figures to be successful and all this bull crap. But here's the thing. If you're green, if you are new to the business world, I don't want to rob you of your wonder, and I'm not here to do that. I'm not here to rob you of the wonder of pursuing full-time, because you probably got it. You are probably going to make $1 million. You probably are going to hit 6 figures in 3 months, 6 figures a month, because you got that itch. I'm just speaking from a person that has been seasoned and jaded from a creative standpoint, seeing the creative departments of the world being overlooked, over abused, just stretched out and taken advantage of. And there's nothing, and we just are so generous because we just want to create. That is our passion, our love. But it's also smart business to tie a value onto the product and service that you provide. But this ties to the whole branding beyond business, because every business owner that I've ever talked to focuses on the product and service of their business, and they always fail at marketing. And then they try to solve the problem by hiring fast and throwing money at something because someone overpromised that they're going to get lots of sales, because that's all they really care about, sales. They don't care how you get sales. But some of them do. Maybe they want to represent the brand and stuff. Some of the people I've known is very anal about their brand, and they're like, I can't put that out. That's a brand. Look at, this brand and that brand and that brand. And I think that's one of the complexities and different spectrums of marketing that I like to talk about, or I talked about to myself, that is, or to DJ. He usually gets all the talking points because he's my sounding board when it comes to why I'm frustrated sometimes about marketers, why I think most of them ruin everything. It's because they really get hired to do sales when their job isn't sales. Their job is attention. And then their sales teams on a business is the job of sales. So what does every department fire first when they go through a struggle season in their business? They fire their marketing team. And what are they hiring first during a season of growth? They hire their sales team. And the problem with that is that they think marketing is sales. And kind of in this new digital era, the lines have been blurred. Marketing and sales kind of goes hand in hand. And there's a lot of different case studies to prove that. Obviously, I'm not naive, but also you got to treat them as different departments. You got to have a solid sales team that knows your products. And honestly, they got to be what we like to call in our company client-obsessed leaders. They have to be completely obsessed about the customers and the client journey. They want to be able to help them. That's a phenomenal sales team, right? If they're completely obsessed about the clients, more so than the paycheck, even though the paycheck's attached to the client, obviously. But you want people that care about people, right? When it comes to sales, when it comes to marketing, you want people to understand how to compel an audience, what gets their attention, but not only gets their attention, keeps their attention. Now, one of my favorite and most annoying, he's not even my favorite, he's just like the most annoying, but we can't not talk about him. It's Mr. Beast on YouTube. He is engineered attention. If you ever look, I'm not affiliated with the guy, I don't know him, but he's done such a great job, like such a craft, such a science behind his YouTube channel. I don't know why I'm drinking this, by the way, Liquid Death. If you ever drink Liquid Death, tell me what you think about it. I think it's overrated, but here I am drinking it because of the brand. Branding beyond business. Let's go. Mr. Beast has crafted such a science behind YouTube and keeping attention. It's phenomenal. Go study him. Go look at his YouTube channel and tell me that he's not crafted such an engineered approach to attention. Okay, literally probably the most money generating YouTube channel on the planet right now. All right, go check him out. Branding beyond business to me means that you understand that growing your business is personal. That every business, when they look through the perspective of building a business, they always think about the few things that businesses need, which is obviously sales, but they obviously need a product. They obviously need customers. They obviously need fulfillment. They need a way to ship their product or service. They obviously need prospects. They obviously need, an office maybe. Maybe some of them are virtual. They have e-commerce stores. But typically when you look at every single business model, whether it's B2C or B2B, they follow the same kind of formulas, right? People understanding who they're helping, what problem they're solving. That's number two. Number two is problem. Number three is process. What is the process for the people to get the product, which is number four. Fourth is product. the process to get people the product that they pay for through their process. And number 5, by the way, if you are able to crush those 4 things, you do really well in business. Actually, you'll be really successful, because those are the things I've done in every business, is identify the people I'm trying to help, the problem that I'm trying to solve, the process it takes to get the product to them. All right. Those are 4 things. So if you have those 4 in place, you're already there. The 5th one is a game changer, which a lot of people don't think about, is the position. The position of the company, the position of the leverage of the brand, the position of strategy, where they're at, what marketing strategy they're using, what branding strategy they're using. This goes back to branding beyond business. Is the position, in my case, or in a lot of cases, is that people buy from people, not from a company or a process or just product. Like, they buy because of the relationship they have with the person behind the product, the story, right? Not in all cases, but in the majority of successful companies, you will see, for the majority of the most successful companies in the world, you'll see a massively strong personal brand, a persona. You won't get Tesla without Elon Musk, guaranteed. Why? Because there's lots of other companies or brands that have made electric vehicles, which they have. None of them as successful as Elon Musk, dare I say. At this very moment, Elon has a ridiculous amount of followers on Twitter, or now X, well, because he's bought it, versus his company, Tesla. In a lot of cases, you'll see that online too. A lot of personal brands, like the Elons, the Mark Zuckerbergs, the Bezos of the world, they have more interest in people than a lot of people don't even actually know what they do in the company. Yeah, they own the company. Cool. What does that mean? They don't know their day-to-day. They don't know any of that stuff. But what they do know is their thought leadership, what got them there, the sacrifices that they made, the fact that they had the cojones to pull through and had the grit to go through the toughest, most difficult times. If you listen to Elon's interviews in the past, how many times has Tesla actually was a day or moments away from going bankrupt? And he's put everything that he's ever earned back into the company. And look how successful it is today. He sends people to space, man. Like, I don't care if you're on the fence about this guy, whether you like him or not. I have no opinion. I'm very neutral to the political game when it comes to life, because I'm like, yo, yeah, you guys are right, you guys are right. You guys are wrong, you guys are wrong. Everybody's corrupt. Period. I care about people. I care about, like, all right, man, like, this is a freaking human being. Let's treat them as such, right? So whether you like them or not, there's a lot to learn, even from people you don't like, okay? So just take that with a grain of salt, a giant Himalayan grain of salt, okay? I guarantee it's going to transform your life if you just listen to me. Do not be offended. Don't go out into the world offended, walking and carrying around offense everywhere you go. That's not the best way to look through life, especially if you're trying to open or run or start or grow a business, okay? So branding beyond business, to me, I think a lot of times when you start a business, you think of what kind of brand you can create. You dream of the brand you're creating, right? Well, we're going to do this. I don't want to be like this. We're kind of like that company, but we're going to do things differently. I see this a lot of times with a lot of churches. Some people that have church hurt go and start their own churches and saying, we're not going to be anything like the church that we came from because we care about people, or we're not going to abuse people, or we're not going to do this. And then they become everything that they never wanted to be. You know, that's one beef I have with church. By the way, I love church. I love Jesus. I love his people. But we're like family. We're all messed up. Sometimes there's uncles I don't even want to talk to. All right, there's people I don't want to talk to, but we're still family. I still got love for them. But here's the idea, is that the beef I have is valid, and I want people to recognize that and really like, hey, like, you're right. Okay, can we just all be brutally honest right now? Like, the church is hurting right now in America, but in worldwide. The communities are hurting without these churches saying, hey, I actually messed up. And it's okay, not every church messed up, but I'm just saying, we're not perfect, right? We're not perfect, but the beef I do have is that not everything, but most churches like to keep things swept under the rug. Like, they don't talk about how much they actually look and undervalue creative people in the church. And they mostly massively value, and this is one beef, and I don't know why I'm saying on this podcast, but it's my podcast. I don't care, right? The beef I have is that they seek after, and I'm not saying this is all churches, just from my kind of knowledge in the Western culture church, because I grew up in church. I'll share that story sometime. But they really target beautiful people and talented people. Target them meaning they're searching for them, and they want to be in proximity to those people of influence in a few beneficial ways. And and this is fine. Like, it's okay. Can we talk about this? Is this a safe place to talk about? Because this is also branding beyond business. It was way beyond business. You know what I'm saying? But let me just tell you, and I'm not going to start this beef because I love the church. Don't get me wrong. I have phenomenal friends in the church. I have a lot of phenomenal pastor friends and church worship leaders I madly respect and I madly love. But here's the issue, and here's the thing. If you do not confront the obvious thing, like the king has no clothes, kind of obvious, gosh, it just shows and demonstrates the character of the church, the position of the church, the transparency and realness and truthfulness that the church carries. Yes, of course, we got to protect a lot of things, right? I know that, right? We got to, we got to honor God. But sometimes to honor him is to be truthful and honest and open and caring and loving and saying, hey, you know what? I made mistakes. That wasn't a good idea. Can I admit that? This is what I learned from it. Now, that's how you build trust. That's why a lot of churches don't. Anyways, I'm going too far in the church. And this is like the beyond section of branding beyond business. But same thing goes for business. You start a business and you're thinking it's going to go well. You have this brand idea and it's going to do phenomenal in the market. And you think it's, you're going to, and here's the thing. If I sat in a room full of like 100 business owners, which I have before, I want to ask you a question. Do you think you're different from any other business that does the same thing that you do in the market that you serve? And I guarantee you every single hand of those 100 people will raise their hand and say, we do things different. We're different. We're just different. We're different. Why? Here's the brutally honest truth. Everybody thinks that they are special, which I don't want to rob you of that. You are special. You're so special. All right? Now we got that over with. You're not different. Your product is the same product as the guy next door. Your coffee is the same coffee as the one down the street. Your product and service is the same as the other service. They probably do it better than you, but we all want to believe that we're special. And I have a problem with that. It's like, can I just be brutally honest with myself? And this is the podcast. I'm really trying to be honest more with the thoughts, feelings that I have that I never get to express. So I apologize, first of all, to myself for going so long without doing this. I'm not apologizing to you. You chose to be here, okay? Let's just get that straight. You chose to push play. You chose to listen. You chose to listen this long, by the way. It's been, I don't know, 20 minutes or so? I don't know. You chose this, okay? If I'm going to be brutally honest, it has to be in the place of you're not special and your product and service is not different. And that's okay. Now that we're here, I am also going to follow up with that statement and say, but you can be different and you are designed and created special, unique, because no one's ever walked your shoes. No one has your story. You could have the same business model and same product, but beyond business is your personal brand, is your persona. The reason why people will buy from you and not your competitor right next door is because they vibe with you. They love you. They have something in common with you. They have the same path as you. Maybe they came up from the same city or place. Like, I live in Tennessee, for Pete's sake. I was born and raised in LA, Los Angeles, not Lower Alabama, gosh darn it. I was born in Los Angeles. And I'm Asian. I'm American, but I am Asian descent. I'm a Filipino. All right. My dad served in the Vietnam War. He came to America on a boat when he turned 21. He turned 21 on a boat crossing the ocean to come to America. And he pursued the dream, life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. You get to choose your journey. So do not complain. You have no room to complain of the outcomes because you have the same opportunity. It's just the other person did more with it than you did. Oh, come on. Yeah. So welcome to the podcast. I believe that every person has a story. I believe that if you have a business or want to start a business, you can thrive by being more you, and you don't have to conform to the business practices of the market or industry. You are actually designed to become different and be different in the way you serve people. You might have the same business model. You might have the same Chick-fil-A as the other Chick-fil-A. Y'all heard have the same menu, but they ain't you, baby. They ain't you. They ain't you. Branding Beyond Business podcast. I'm your host, John Mediana. Yes, I understand that media is in my last name. And my last name in Spanish also means medium, which is really ironic because I'm not a medium-sized guy. Chunky, husky is what my mom would call it when I was 8 years old. Looking for my size at the local Target. So anyways, welcome to the first episode. Wow. Thank you. Shout out to my wife, my beautiful, lovely, supportive, compelling wife, Britt Mediana. I love you with all my heart, baby, baby. This is the first podcast, and thank you for pushing me to this limit of just doing it without all the fanciness. This ain't fancy. This is one camera, one mic, one guy, right? Branding Beyond Business. You tell me what you want to hear in the reviews and the comments. Email me when my email is put together. Yes, at brandingbeyondbusiness.com. This is the first episode. Let me know if you got something from it. I can't wait to share with you my stories. I want to invite my friends and guests on the show. So it's not just going to be a solo podcast. It's going to be, interviews. It's going to be stories. It's going to be conversations. You're going to get a lot of solo stuff from me too. I got a lot of things to share. I got to get things off my chest. Well, welcome to the show. I hope you enjoy it. This show has no sponsors, but I do want to plug in my agency because that is our bread and butter. So Executive Brand Growth, me and DJ Acevedo. He is the COO of our company, and he's phenomenal. He's not on this podcast because this is my podcast. He has his own podcast. Go follow him, Creators Theory. Go check that out. But he's, also the CEO of our company. So go check out executivebrandgrowth.com, our content agency where we launch podcasts just like this. We help you grow them. We help you find your tribe, and we help you produce consistent content that people will love and enjoy for your business and for your personal brand. So go check that out and go to brandingbeyondbusiness.com to get on our newsletter. I will send out weekly personalized newsletters because I care about you. If you want to stay tuned and listen to this and all these podcasts, the least I could do is give you my time and respond to your email. So if you have any questions, any suggestions, maybe you want to suggest someone to interview, maybe you want to introduce me to somebody to have on the show, please drop a line and we will talk soon. Thank you so much. Follow me on social media at John Mediana everywhere. Okay? So we'll stay tuned. Talk to you soon. Before I go, I just wanted to make a big shout out to Smokers Abbey in Gallatin. Thank you, homies, for allowing me to hang out here and own a corner for a couple hours and film this podcast for my 2 listeners. Thanks, Mom.